Okay, for part of your lab assignment on sensors, here's what I want you to do. This is for sensors and inputs to the PCM. I want you to select a vehicle, and I am going to select a 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer Evo with that engine, because that's the only one I came with. And from there, as you might expect, I'm going to go to Powertrain Management. When I get to Powertrain Management, I am going to go to Sensors and Switches. Click on that. When you get to Sensors and Switches, it gives you some different categories like evaporative vapor pressure sensor and accelerator pedal position sensors and so forth. Select this one right here, Sensors and Switches, Computer and Control Systems. These other ones will probably be included in this list anyway, so take that one. Then you're going to come up with a list like this, and this should be all, or at least close to all, of the sensor inputs on this particular vehicle. Now I want you to print this list out, but I found that if you use the printer commands in the browser, that it prints goofy. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go down to the Start menu down here, and every Windows 7 computer, and probably Windows 8, has something called a snipping tool. I want you to find that snipping tool in here, and you are going to capture the screen, or at least the part of the screen that you want to print out. Everything will become ghosted at that point, and then you're going to just draw a box around the stuff that you would like to print, and leave some blank space on the right here, because I'd like you to have a little extra writing room, and it's going to fill the page with this. So you're going to grab that thing, and then it's going to boot it over to this this snipping program. So it's going to open up another window with your picture in it. Now this program will not let you print until you save. So we got to save it. And by default, it's going to save it to the desktop. So we're going to hit the disk there and save it. It's going to want you to give it a name, of course. It'll call it Capture, also by default, but I already know that I've got a file called Capture, so I can call it Evo Inputs, and I'm leaving that suffix on there for the file type. You don't have to, but anyway. So then I'm going to click Save, of course, and it will save it to the desktop. Then I come up here, and if I try to go to File right now, it still will not let me print it. It doesn't go, she gave me a print icon, so just close this, minimize, and then find the file that you named, whatever you named it, and I called it Evo Input. So bring that up, and now it gives me a print function right there. Now I hit print, click print, and I've found that this works the best. At least seems to be, if I uncheck this, yeah, lost my mouse. There we go. Uncheck this fit picture to frame and click print. Okay. Once that thing is printed out, then you're going to get something that looks like this, of course. And for each sensor item on this list, I want you to give me 3 things. I'm going to pick the fuel tank pressure sensor. The first thing I want is the type of sensor it is from the 8 categories of sensors that we talked about. And this one, pretty obvious, it's a pressure sensor. Next, how many wires does it have? We're going to have to look that up. I'll show you how we find that out here in a little bit. And then, where is it located? So, type, number of wires, and location. Oh, I forgot to say, when you take this snip and you do the snipping tool, if you can capture the vehicle, you know, year, make, model, that's good, because then you don't have to write it down. Otherwise you're going to have to write that in there at the top, what year, make, model you're working on. Okay, so now we have to figure out where this fuel tank pressure sensor is located, and also how many wires it's got. So let's go back to the computer. And I've still got this snippet tool thing open, so I'm going to close that and bring my ALLDATA back up. So now we're live in ALLDATA. And fuel tank pressure sensor. I'm going to try clicking on replace. I think that's just going to give me, I think it, well, it might give me some information. No, it's not. I thought I could click on that. Oh, hold on. I got to click here. Give me locations. Well, that's one of the things I needed. So go to locations. And it's giving us kind of an overview here of the vehicle, and I'm going to scroll down and just get right to it, and zoom in on this, and it shows me the fuel tank differential pressure sensor is in the fuel pump module, incorporating the fuel level sensor and the fuel tank temperature sensor as well. I don't remember a fuel tank temperature sensor being on our list. The fuel level sensor is there, but it must have a fuel tank temperature sensor as well. Anyway, so for location, I'm going to fill in here that it is in the fuel pump module. And the reason I said have some extra white space here is in case you need more room to write out here, you could extend that out and write some of that information out there. Okay, then we got to figure out how many wires it's got. Now, since it's a pressure sensor, it should have, how many? It should have 3. Let's find out. So, back to the computer. Close that window. And back up. And we're really going to need a wiring diagram now, because they didn't give us much here. I still think for some of these, clicking on that will give me parts and labor. No, I guess I got to click there. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Not that I cared, but that's where I get the labor information and stuff. Got to click on the title itself. My bad. Anyway, no, we don't care about that. We need a wiring diagram. So I go back to my powertrain management heading here, and I got to go down on this side. And look for electrical diagrams. Oh boy, look at all those electrical diagrams. Well, fortunately, it gives us an index here. And MFI system stands for multi-port fuel injection. So we click on that. Don't know what the other one was for, but we could look if we really cared. And I'm looking for fuel tank pressure sensor. Well, as we saw in that one other diagram with the picture on top of the tank, they call it a fuel tank differential pressure sensor. So I click on that hot link hoping that it does work, and it does. And it brings up this wiring diagram which shows me the fuel tank differential pressure sensor. So there it is. And you know what, I forgot something. I want you to also give me what each of the wires are for. So we said it's 3 wires. Over in that white area on the sheet, why don't you tell me what each of the wires are? On a 3-wire sensor, generally speaking, we're going to have a 5-volt, a ground, and a signal. Or I guess you could say reference voltage, because it's not always 5, but it almost is. On sensors, it's almost always 5. If we zoom in on this thing, I will try. That is showing me the PCM there and the sensor right there. And notice that, and it's a little blurry for you, but notice that that says 5 volts. That is a symbol for a ground. Little teeny one, but it is a ground symbol. And then that would be my signal. So we have 5 volts, ground, and signal. So back to the paper for our fuel tank pressure sensor. I would write down for the 3 wires 5 volts, ground, and signal. There you go. Do that for all of them, and if you can, you know, actually find them on the vehicle, I think that'd be helpful for you. Also, your next assignment after you get this done is going to be to pick one of these sensors and approve it with me, and I'm going to have you do a little video presentation that you're going to put up on YouTube for one of these sensors.